In this video, I'm going to share 12 things that you need to stop doing if you're awake at night and can't sleep. In my mission to help normal people with busy lives get better sleep at night, I'm always shocked at some of the things that people tell me they do when they're awake at night. Okay, so let's get into it. So number one is panicking. This is by far the most important. Everything after this point is very practical activities that you probably care more about. But you need to hear this. It's okay to be awake. Nothing bad is going to happen. Yes, it feels terrible when you're awake and you feel like your body is literally incapable of sleep. But you are capable of sleep, and this will pass. Even if you're awake all night, this will pass. So whether it's through psychological therapies or self-guided meditations or even just an insomnia workbook that you've picked up online, one thing's for sure: the pressure that you put on yourself and the worry and the anxieties that it comes with are the first things that you need to address. Number two is eating food. So I get why people get confused about this, right? Because there is stuff about having a bit of a snack before you go to bed and that possibly helping with sleep. But you need to stop eating food late at night, and there's a very good reason for this. You see, our body has its own clock, or actually it has many clocks, and one of those clocks lives in your gut. And the clock in your gut is set so that it's not expecting food late into the night. And in fact, when it does get food late at night or even in the very, very early hours of the morning, the hormones that are associated with hunger and fullness, as well as an important hormone called insulin, get confused. And as a result, there's this cascade of inflammatory signals that get spread out across the body. And this can result in tiredness, pains, and even gastrointestinal upset. Number three is don't write a breakup letter in the middle of the night. Now, there are many reasons why this is a terrible idea, but one of those reasons is that it's just truly a miserable activity. And in my previous video, I talked a little bit about this when we talked about the enjoyment stimulation curve. So go check that video out if you haven't already. What this essentially says is that if you engage in unpleasant activities in the nighttime, this is inevitably going to cause a level of stimulation in your body, which is unhelpful for sleep. On a similar note, don't make any important decisions late at night. Right, so there was this meme going around online recently about Sonic the Hedgehog saying how you should never make any big decisions or never trust how you feel about your life past 9 p.m. Well, it turns out the science says that's probably actually true. Whether it's about a job or a relationship, it's usually not a great idea to trust the workings of your mind late at night. There's this idea of the mind after midnight, and it basically says that the biology and the chemistry of the brain is different at night to during the day. There are literally biochemical markers in the brain that show that we make bad decisions late at night. So if there's a big decision to be made, put it off to the morning. Number five, don't pay your bills. Now, in my previous video, I talked a little bit about how sorting and organizing things can be helpful. So you might want to sort your bills into different categories, that's okay. But as soon as you get into the territory in the realm of paying your bills, that starts getting pretty miserable once again. And as soon as it goes from being an administrative task to being something that is emotionally involved, it's likely to be stimulating. And as we've mentioned about the mind after midnight, particularly if you're in debt or if you've got a large bill to pay off, this can actually worsen your mood. Your bills need to get paid, fine, but you can wait till the morning. Next, don't try and be productive. Now, it's so tempting, isn't it? It's the middle of the night, you're awake, you might as well just send some emails, tick off some tasks on the to-do list. The thing is, you just won't be productive. And as we've mentioned before, some of these things might actually be important decisions, and you just can't make good decisions at this time at night. Number seven, don't switch on the lights. Light is a signal to our brain that it's daytime. Now, if you're struggling to sleep and you're awake at night, the last thing that you want to do is tell your body that it's time to wake up and time to get up. Instead, keep the lights dim, and if you're going to use an artificial light, try and stick with a warm yellow light. These are the ones that tend to have the least impact on wakefulness. Number eight, Do not use sleeping tablets or sleep aids of any kind. These medications typically sedate you rather than giving you quality sleep. The problem with taking them late at night is that they take a little bit of time to work and they then leave you with a bit of a hangover effect the next morning. And if you're wondering about melatonin, I'd actually put it in this same basket, because although it doesn't tend to leave you with a hangover effect the next day, it does take several hours for it to start having its effect. Number 9, get off social media. Now, the screens are not the problem here, it's the content. Again, it's the emotional activation. You're seeing things that either excite you or make you angry and miserable. These are things that are only going to serve to keep you up even more. And there's a line of thinking in the sleep world that says that if you're on Facebook or any other social media platform in the middle of the night and no one else is, it reinforces a sense of social isolation. And for many people, this can make you even more upset and miserable. Number 10, don't play video games. Okay, I get it. I'm sounding like an ultimate killjoy. I don't mean to be. But the thing is with video games, in particular compared to TV, is video games are like high fructose corn syrup. They're like the crack cocaine of TV. Video games are designed with bright colours, high saturation, high contrast, exaggerated sound effects, 10-year-old children screaming at you through their headsets. Once again, it's just a recipe for overstimulation. And if you're a bit more grown up and you're like, well, no, I have a virtual reality headset, actually, that's potentially even worse. You're literally surrounded by pixels. You cannot escape the pixels. Number 11, put down the alcohol. Commonly regarded as a sleep aid, this is a lie. Although it seemingly puts you to sleep sooner, alcohol is really just sedating you. The brain waves of people who have had alcohol to go to sleep are totally different from those who fall asleep naturally. What's more is that people who use alcohol to go to sleep wake up much more frequently during the night. Finally, don't count sheep. Now, this isn't really a hard and fast rule. You can count sheep, but it might not work. And the reason is that, again, you might just start getting a bit panicked by the time you get to 2,000 sheep, thinking, oh my goodness, I am not falling asleep and I'm on 2,000 sheep. Instead, there are some strategies that are suggested to be helpful. One of these is a strategy called visualization. Now, I won't go into loads of detail about this now, but the general gist is to create an imaginative story, a descriptive visualization in your own mind, trying to incorporate as much detail into the image and the scenario as you can. And so, well done. If you've got to the end of the video, you might be wondering, well, what on earth am I meant to do? If I can't do any of those things, what should I do? And so for that, you might want to watch this video here and take a little look and let me know what you think. So on that note, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.